Hello there, it's Pegasus in the Starfield with a mellow, cozy tour. Officially, this is a field research outpost for my Xenobiologist explorer. Unofficially, we call it Milliwhale Acres. Welcome! This is one of my favorite locations so far, and between the golden hours and the golden moments, it's been a captivating project. Yup, that happened. While building, I made an effort to preserve the natural habitat as much as possible, and I'll spend a bit of this tour walking through the forest in order to share its ambiance with you. But there are chapter markers for your convenience if that's not the vibe you're looking for. Either way, glad to have you here. This character, Veronica, had been pretty busy with her industrial business for a while, but lately she's been doing more of the transportation, delivery, and survey jobs as she finds them. That's what brought her here to Gamma Vulpes 2A. Just off the landing pad, I made a small platform for the Rev 8, and after a series of escalating incidents between it and Barrett, I thought the wiser course of action would be to put a roof on it. I stacked Outpost storage containers over it, and there hasn't been any funny business since, so I think they worked out their differences. The inspiration for this build came from Veronica's backstory. For a number of years, she worked as a field researcher in the science division of MAST and was recalled to New Atlantis for promotion to a supervisory position behind a desk. But her passion was always out in the field, and when they made it clear that was no longer an option for her, she made her exit and retired early. The Tower Hab serves as personal quarters for Andromeda here, who takes care of things while Veronica and Barrett are off exploring. Honestly, her duties are pretty minimal, so she has plenty of time to also work on the book she told me she's drafting when I hired her. The foundation pad is a combination of storage and maintenance. There's a short range and plenty of weapon and ammo containers. Although Veronica doesn't seek combat encounters, with the exception of unavoidable main quest missions, she has no qualms about defense, which always seems to be necessary. This outpost has already been attacked once, and because I had the scan booster installed, I was able to identify the ship as it landed, mark it as a potential enemy, and then watch the sortie advance through the forest toward my outpost. Objectively, it was pretty cool to watch, but it just proves my point. I left the upper platform pretty minimalist, and actually in terms of buildings, this outpost is pretty small, but I figure since it's independently funded and operated and mainly performing field studies, the need for facilities is minimal. Why spoil it with unnecessary structures? But who knows, once the studies are complete, we could see about flipping it into a B&B or a retreat with cabins, something that fits this woodsy setting. Here's a bird's eye view of the outpost, and from up here you can see how dense the trees are in some areas. The husbandry buildings are barely visible, the rest are hidden. So I've got this tower hab set up. Notice the switches beside the door, they toggle certain features on or off. I kept the shell on for this build. The other options are a deck platform on the roof with stairs up to it and a cover for it. I don't even know if we can call this a kitchen, the way the cooking station is wedged in here, but it works. The dining area has a little more space and another counter for the tea kettle and microwave, and then the bedroom and bathroom are in the back. In my head, there are sliding pocket doors that have been left open here. I think on the whole, this entire apartment could have been accomplished a little more gracefully, but I really wanted these dark blue walls with the lighter blue hab walls, and it's great that they have custom collisions because I didn't really have to worry about the ductwork on the ceilings in here. Because I forced these walls to work, I had to work around them, and things are a bit more cramped than I'd like. I don't use them very often, but the tower habs are really fun to build with. Alright, we're going to head back to the ground level and do a bit of the walking now. These crystal clusters are part of the understory. They get deleted by outpost structures, so I was really careful about where I built so that I could keep as many of them as possible, but I did add trees to make baffles around the landing pads. Less disturbance to the wildlife, I think. Then this is the cargo link pad for shipping and receiving, and I've got a little building for a break room with the bathroom facilities adjacent. You might recognize it as the ship services building from the spaceport in Aquila City. That's only on the exterior though. Inside it's pretty basic, but we do keep the cabinets and fridge well stocked, and there are some games and comics too. I'd imagine there's got to be at least 2 people in the cargo ships, especially when they're making runs out here to the unsettled systems. I have the same bridge on my current ship and it seats 3. But space is kind of dangerous, so I always wonder how many crew are actually in those cargo ships. And I know you really want to see the bathroom. I didn't add anything to that, just left it the way it was. It's from the Scrappy Structures mod. I can only use it on planets with safe environments because it doesn't have any protection from environmental damage built into it. Now we're going to head across to the tower blind where Veronica does her field observations. And I don't know if it's this planet or because there are fewer structures in this outpost, but there are more predators than I feel like I usually see, and especially the hunting dragons on this planet are a bit aggressive. There's one just to the side of the stairs there, and they killed the seahorse shortly after I started building, and they just haven't left it since, and I'm just gonna hop over it. I kept Barrett on the landing pad because if he comes anywhere near here, he just starts shooting them, and then more of them show up, and we don't need that, especially during a tour. I built this tower blind with pieces from the catwalks in one of Betamax's mods. I think it's better Outpost Habs with doors. And all of the supplies up here, I just stocked on instinct. Like if I had to spend the entire day up here, what would I want to have easy access to? Snacks, water, and then, you know, there's binoculars, notepads, computer stuff for data collection. Veronica's private quarters are nearby if she needed to use the bathroom or something. We'll head over there next. I never get tired of looking at these. I usually see the giant crystals like this on airless moons or inhospitably toxic planets. This is the first chance I've gotten to have them in my front yard, and you bet I took it. And this little house is from Scrappy Structures. I really like the rustic vibes it's giving. The warm wood tones and the Aquila-style building are just right up Veronica's alley. As much as I like how it looks, overall as a structure, it's just okay. There are a few issues I found with it as I started decorating. NPC pathing, lighting, the floor is sloped. I did work around those things though, and I made a cozy little place in here. I'm not sure what's going on with the produce boxes. They started upright, but every time I come back they've moved or flipped around on the shelves. I don't know how because they should be static, but mods can misbehave sometimes, although that's a new one for me. The stovetop is a functional cook station, which is a great immersive feature. Generally, I kept the decorating light in here because it's really just a temporary outpost, not a permanent player home. That being said, it does still have all of the amenities you'd need if you had to live for a while you were doing field studies out here. While working on this outpost, Veronica completed Barrett's companion quest, and so they're engaged. They haven't done the commitment ceremony yet, and I'm looking forward to that because in her last universe he was taken by the hunter. I had gotten to the same affinity level that I'm at now where we agreed to a commitment, but we didn't get to the ceremony. And there are a couple of reasons I chose Barrett for Veronica's companion. First, I just really enjoy his sense of humor. He's witty and sarcastic and sassy. His companion quest is one that doesn't require fighting or killing any humans, and overall he's just a cozy, comfortable character. My nickname for him is actually Teddy Barrett. And to enhance the ambiance, I put some lanterns along this pathway. Just kidding. Because there are so few buildings, I got lost a few times as I was trying to find my way through this forest to the husbandry buildings. So I put these little lanterns along the pathway so that I would know which way to go. They have an aqua or like a cyan color, so they're really pretty, and I think they look really cool at night. We'll go back to daylight for the interior tour of these buildings. As I was scanning and surveying, I was already thinking I should build something here because it just looks so cool in this forest, but then I realized the Milliwhales were domesticable as I was scanning them, and that pretty much sealed the deal for me. So because it's a research outpost, I used the vanilla animal husbandry facilities, and this is actually the first time I've done anything with them other than just set them down to get the resources from whatever creature on whichever planet, which kind of feels like an oversight on my part, but because we're doing research here, these are decorated to support that roleplay. This first one is the larger of the two that I built, and it's more for taking care of the sick creatures and performing autopsies, definitely the more in-depth, like, internal research facility. And because I've never decorated one of these before, I learned during this build that they actually have no interior lighting, so they get very dark at night. The lights over the doors are just emissive. They glow, but they don't actually cast light at all, which makes sense, or at least it would if the critters stayed inside, but they seem to prefer roaming around outside. I've been trying to figure out a way to explain why I chose this planet, this biome, and I'm not sure how to describe it, but it's the colors, it's the deciduous forest, it's the immersive ambiance as you walk through it with all of the bird noises and songs, the wind, the creatures roaming around, and I have not found many places that I want to build again in that same location from one universe to the next. This is only the second place I've found that I've definitely been like, I want to come back here, because it's really easy to find resources or build anywhere, but it is not easy to find places that soothe the way this place does for me. And that's not to say there aren't amazing landscapes everywhere in this game, because there are. Just very few of them have drawn me into wanting to return to them instead of exploring and finding somewhere new. Which, maybe that's part of what exploring is about anyway, finding places that make you want to stay. Aren't they just adorable? Alright, this is the smaller of the two buildings, and the first one I built kind of intended it more for like checkups where we measure health metrics and conduct social experiments, get baseline readings for the control group, study the resources we can harvest from these little guys. Our initial research findings indicate that small doses of Milliwhale interaction daily, as little as 5 minutes, can increase mental and physical health in humans by improving mood and emotional well-being, boosting energy levels, lowering blood pressure and heart rate, and reducing stress and anxiety. Similar effects have been observed in the Milliwhale control group after interacting with humans as well. I think Veronica left her career on not the best of terms. And this outpost was a way for her to, now that she has plenty of leisure time, really think about what she wants to do rather than what she can do to occupy her time or pay the bills, although that prorated pension is why she took the job with Argos Extractors originally. But now that she has a willing partner and the means to pursue her passions independently, she has the freedom to choose how she spends her time. This was a really special build to me, and I hope you were able to see some of that enchantment here too. My mod list is in the description, and if you have any questions or comments, feel free to drop me a line. Thanks for watching. Catch a smile out there.